Makeup with 70!
We haven't done it in a couple of days because we've had the Trump deal going on.
And you know what I haven't done either in a while?
I'm just going to pick the top one, whatever it is.
My national days. This is the chapstick one. I mean, it's okay.
Sorry to disappoint you.
It's the Rose Petal Pink. And it's just a chapstick brand, but with a tint. Sorry, I'm trying to type at the same time.
No problem.
National days, though, because I haven't done those in forever, and I really miss them.
I'll give you a couple then.
Yes. Bad. I like it.
Which it didn't make any difference. You're going to do it anyway.
Exactly, but now you look like the nice guy, so
yes.
It's cool. Okay, National I Love Lucy Day.
Wow.
For all those I Love
that
Lucy
was a
fans.
great show.
You know what it was? And then it's really cool how they went back and did it in color. I mean, I like the black and white too, but they went back and did a couple episodes in color.
Yeah, I think doesn't
cool.
some of the last episode, was it I Love Lucy were in color, or was it the Lucille Ball show? I don't remember now.
There was two. All right, that one and your favorite, or not favorite, but this totally goes with you. National Grouch Day. Grouchy.
I thought I heard another one that you were going to bring up, but maybe not.
Which one?
I don't know. What do we got?
Get smart about credit cards?
No.
Get to know your customer day?
No.
National Pregnancy and Infancy Loss Awareness Day? That's
No.
kind of sad. I don't know. Cheese Curd Day?
No, I heard something. I can't remember what it was, but it caught my eye when they said it. Maybe it was yesterday. Might have been that.
You know what? Yeah, it might have been yesterday. But more importantly, it's National My Oldest Son's Birthday. I have a 10-year-old now.
Yes.
Gosh, I feel old. Don't agree with me. All right, we're going on Facebook.
You
ready?
don't look old.
Well, thank you. And I didn't have to do Botox either. Not yet.
Don't do that.
Why?
Look at Nancy
We're going on Facebook.
Look at Nancy Pelosi. There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every day, Monday through Friday, live at 5 on IU Newswire and
on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and get prompted every time we go live at 5.
Yes, and we're going to still see if we can work the Twitch thing out.
Yes, we're going to go on Twitch right now.
We're going to see if the Twitch platform works on that.
Add that to my to-do list.
Add another one to our repertoire of media video outlets on that, and hopefully here in the near future we'll actually make the video portion of the more interactive with the ensemble, so we can do more stuff with that and make it a even more entertaining show than it already is, because it is already the best show
it is
in the entire universe.
I mean, yeah, galaxy and everything. I don't even think Mars can beat us, even if they
That's
tried.
It. You know, we'll probably be the Trump said yesterday we're going to Mars. Maybe we'll be the first to broadcast from Mars.
I'll let you go first. I'll control it from down here while you go up there.
Well, that's one way to get rid of me.
Yeah, there you go.
Of that fun day today on that, and I will say that, and I just make it jokingly, if you work on brakes, you must be a racist, because it's going to turn your face, and well, you can see some of the stains on my hands, but it will turn your face and everything because the brake dust goes all over you. So I guess if you somebody took a picture of you after you worked on brakes or something in the dust, and then you could be accused of being a racist because you're wearing blackface. This is how freaking absurd our society, and it has become. And surprisingly, really, I mean, it was building up, but I mean, it's turned so fast in 2020. It's almost, it's almost spooky as we're coming up on Halloween, the non-Halloween Halloween of 2020. It's almost spooky how quickly this stuff is changing. It was like the deal where at the Senate hearings yesterday for the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. And she said, I don't know, they were asking about some gay LGBTQSYD or whatever the hell alphabet soup letters they come up. And she said sexual preference. And I don't remember what senator jumped on. It really doesn't matter. Oh, that's a demeaning term that the people are using to discredit or the people of the A, B, C, L, G, J, whatever communities. And I'm thinking, for crying out loud, why don't we just ban all language? Don't no more speaking, no more written communication, because somewhere in the 7+ billion people, somewhere somebody's going to be offended by something.
Right.
So if we're going to use,
I don't get what offended. What did she say that was offensive?
She said the word sexual preference, I guess, meaning to if you're gay or straight or somewhere
matter?
In between or whatever.
I don't get where.
That was
how is that termed wrong?
You got beats the hell out of me. That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking you can't be freaking serious.
Was she asking the sexual preference of somebody?
No, she was answering a question of one of the senators, asking a question about whatever, totally irrelevant to. Are you going? There's really only one question. Are you going to judge the cases on the law, on the Constitution as it is? That's really the only question you should be asking a Supreme Court justice. Because by the time they get to that point. They've been well vet, especially in today's society. Everything that possibly could be known about them, even not known about them, like they did to poor Judge Kavanaugh. And Kamala Harris was the one that was raking him over the coals, darn near calling him a rapist, sexual deviant, anything else. When his whole history, there was nothing of that of the case, and even the one person that was accusing of that was pretty much discredited, in my view, and many others on that. And we're going to save this for a different day. But
dun, dun, dun.
but Kamala Harris, Dad Donald Harris, he's about 80, 81. He's a very high. I think he's even got a doctorate in economics. He was a professor at Stanford University, which usually means you're pretty high up on the chain when you get into Stanford. They only take the best of the best as far as professors, and most of the people that get admitted to Stanford University. It's one of our top universities, not only in America, in the world. He was a professor there. He's been a consultant to prime ministers and government agencies and all that, and very highly respected person. What he has to say about his daughter, Kamala Harris, may surprise you.
Really?
Because if you were district attorney or whatever they called it in San Francisco, then attorney general of California, then a U.S. senator, presidential candidate, and then vice presidential Democratic nominee, and your dad was a highly acclaimed economist, thinking that if you are president, one of your main jobs is the economy and how it affects not only the U.S. but the world, I would think you would be touting your dad and bringing him in as an advisor. Hey, this is my dad. I learned economics from him. Da-da-da. This is what he says about it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Notice you haven't heard except, and you're going to be shocked, probably a lot of you, by what he said when Kamala started to run for president in 2019, and he hasn't said anything since. And
really?
Kamala,
what did he say?
Well, we'll bring that out later.
I want to know.
This is what's called a teaser.
I don't like it.
It keeps people on their edge and wanting to come back. But
it makes me want to come back.
Well, I got to do something because you're not coming back because I'm here. But again, we're going to bring that out on that, and we're going to get into the Hunter Biden, Hunter Joe Biden, the latest breaking. Man, that thing's blowing up like a Mount St. Helens volcano coming up, of all the stuff going on between Twitter and Facebook, and New York Post posting a new story on that today, and people trying to deny, and some of the inside stories on that, But we had and it pertains to our local area, Moreno Valley, Paris, and that.
So on Thursdays, we're going to start a new thing. Top trending story. Okay?
Yes.
Trending Thursday. I'm trying to make a rhyme. I just can't figure it out. Anyways.
Top trending Thursday.
So a day ago, we posted a post that reached 49,941. It was the biggest post that we had this week. It had 2,487 reactions, a crap ton of shares, likes, and comments.
Yeah.
And that post
was, as we're rolling it up on the screen.
My screen doesn't work.
We forgot to do number 6 on the in and out on there for a thing. It should pop up here in a second. There we go. Now we got it. Biggest meth bust in U.S. history. Moreno Valley Paris homes included official stay. In a massive haul in DAE Operation Crystal Shield, agents seized about 2,224, that sounds pretty precise to me, but pounds of meth, nearly 900 pounds of cocaine, and 10 pounds of heroin that were stashed in several homes in Moreno Valley, Paris, and Riverside County on October 2nd as part of Operation Crystal Shield. So, Moreno Valley now has 2 of the biggest busts. We also have known for the biggest bribe taken by a public official in U.S. history. Not only Council Member Marcelo Coe took $2.36 million bribe in a loan rezoning scheme that was set up by the by special agents of that, and so that was the biggest bribe. Now we're on the list in the biggest meth bust in U.S. history, going at. So Moreno Valley, we got a lot to be proud of.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Of that, it just seems like.
But look at that, though. I mean, it's just pouring out like flour. Oh no, that's another bag by. I thought it was pouring out. But look at that. That is ridiculous.
That's a photo from the DEA on that. They did this October 2nd, and they kept it pretty quiet. They put the press release out yesterday and did that. And, man, they kept it pretty quiet because it went all across, I think all across Southern California. But I think the biggest haul was out of out of Moreno Valley in Paris. I think it was over 4,000 pounds of meth, but you can see over half of it was stashed in houses in Moreno Valley in Paris. So we were the biggest part of that meth operation that was going on. So, man, it just goes to show you, we've had a big human trafficking problem. We've had bribe taken. I would think Moreno Valley would want to examine really what's going on in here because, it's not really good to be known as a human trafficking center for the biggest meth bust in history, for your politicians taking the biggest bribe from a political official or office holder in U.S. history. That's not, that is not things you really want. I would think you would not want to be your community to be known for. What do you think?
I would agree with you 100%. I mean, that's ridiculous. That, growing up with my kids in the city, and I mean, I love our city, and they used to have great community events going on that I'd always bring them to, and everybody was happy, but now it's like everything just seems to be going downhill. And not during just this time, just in general. I don't see any of our local politics out. I don't see our mayor anywhere. And it's really just, it's a little disheartening because they used to be out so much, and like, I feel like everybody kind of just pulled away and just got like shady in a way. I hate saying that though. Oh my God, you're turning me totally into you. Like a year ago, I would have never said any of that.
Exactly.
Crap. It's his fault.
Well, that just goes without saying, I guess. But blame Roy for everything.
Yeah.
But blame Roy for the bad schools when he told you exactly what was going on and that. And then when it happens, well, we didn't know,
But then that goes back to what I said yesterday. Nobody wanted to think the crazy logic coming out of that head of yours was going to be right. I know I didn't. I didn't want to think the schools were going to close down and everything else.
No, our politicians have been shadier than that. And I go back to all you that recalled Tom Owings back in 2014. You were part of the problem. Tom Owings was trying to straighten this crap out, and he did a lot of it. And I will tell you this, if it wasn't for Tom Owings, I can almost guarantee you with a 99.999% certainty, Moreno Valley would have been bankrupt in 2014. And you can ask him why and who told him what was going on, and he didn't believe it. I think I went through the story of that finally a little bit while ago on that. But the sometimes it pays to listen to us crazy loons that are out there shouting from the rooftops because we might know what we're talking about.
But we don't like it when you're right about bad stuff. Be
Well-
right about me winning the lotto or something. That'd be great.
Well, when I
No.
get that information, I will let you know
Will you? Or are you gonna go buy yourself a lotto ticket?
of that.
Yeah.
Well, no, and it is a good thing to learn because you stick to the facts. If you stick to the facts and tell no lies, you don't have to because the story never changes. Thing
Right.
about a lie is the story always changes, and that's where we're going to wind into the latest in the Hunter Biden saga.
Like, where are you going with this? I'm not lying. I really want to win the lotto, man.
Of that. Let's go back to this. This is on NBC or Today Show on NBC. This is Joe Biden with Savannah Guthrie regarding Hunter Biden back in February of that to set up and what he said on that. This is a short 1-minute clip. Let's go.
Here the president is accused of and has acknowledged wanting to get information about your son Hunter and his dealings with Ukraine. And this process of impeachment has ensured that everyone knows about Hunter's dealings with Ukraine.
That's a good thing, and no one's found anything wrong with his dealings with Ukraine except they say it sets a bad image.
Well, do you agree that it sets a bad
Yeah,
image?
And my son said that.
Do you think it was wrong for him to take that position,
No.
knowing that it was really because
But
that
he
company
did.
wanted access to you?
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?
Don't
Who
you
said
think
that?
Don't you think that it's just one
So
of the-
let's just stop right there.
Okay.
Now, would you say with that little exchange with, because this mansplaining thing has come up.
The what?
Mansplaining.
What is that?
Well, that's supposedly where us guys, like when we tell you schools ain't opening again, and you're mansplaining to the women.
Like explaining, but in a man kind of way?
Yes, and telling you that, and maybe like in terms of that, like you saw the attitude of Joe Biden. You don't know what you're talking about of
I
that.
don't know.
So
And
that
she didn't slap him?
it's probably because she's a very nice person.
those
Let's
things
go.
where people think, well, that seems kind of sleazy. Why would he have that job if not for who his father was?
He's a very bright
I
guy.
guess the question I'm kind of asking is, was it
Crack
right?
smoking,
Appearance.
hoe chasing Hunter
Well,
Biden.
he said he regretted having done it. Speak for himself.
There it is.
So that's dad talking about son.
Yeah, in February when he's running for president. So we had the breaking news of that the New York Post popped yesterday with the emails supposedly, allegedly off of his computer that he left at a repair
Whose
shop.
computer?
But Hunter Biden's.
Okay.
Hunter Biden's. He left a computer. Allegedly, this guy said he dropped it off in Delaware, where he lives, where Hunter lives. Didn't pick it up. So the guy legally obtained possession of said computer because he repaired it and the bill wasn't paid. So he wound up with the computer. So again, allegedly, all these emails with all the communications that Joe Biden knew about this in 2014, yada, 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 that the firestorm came up. And then Twitter and Facebook tried throttling the New York Post stuff yesterday. Even New York Post sending it out on that. Anybody, if IEN or anybody was sending that link out, Facebook and Twitter were cutting it off because Joe Biden said, no, this is not true, or his campaign said, no, this is not true, da-da-da, you got to take that down. So Dorsey and that ding-dong Zuckerberg acquiesced to that. Mind you, when the New York Times, and this is supposedly, if the story's right, this guy legally obtained these emails. They were on his computer now that were Hunter Biden's. So he was legally, as far as I'm no lawyer but give legal advice, but my understanding is he was legally allowed to distribute his property because it's his property, his emails now, his computer, his hard drive. Mind you, the New York Times could publish or say to obtain Donald Trump's tax returns illegally, which they're not supposed to have.
Right.
And we don't say nothing about that.
No, why would we?
Facebook and Twitter let that go on. Publish it all you want. Hypocrites
I
taking
think so.
sides. Yes. So here's his campaign manager. Mind you, the Biden campaign put the pressure, it seems like, or it's alleged, that they put the pressure on or are complaining to Facebook and Twitter about this, so they're throttling it back. This is Joe Biden's campaign manager, Jamal Brown, on yesterday doing that. So,
for blocking tweets connected to this recent New York Post article about Hunter Biden's connections in Ukraine and Joe Biden's alleged involvement when he was vice president. What is your campaign response to this article, and do you think that Twitter is doing the right thing here?
Well, look, I think Twitter's response to the actual article itself makes clear that these, purported allegations are false and they're not true. And glad to see social media companies like Twitter taking responsibility to limit misinformation.
So
it's a
now tell me this guy, Jamal Brown, his spokesman, which will probably be your next press secretary if Joe Biden wins, is not a lying sack of crap. Joe Biden's campaign or Joe Biden or somebody complains to Facebook, they take it down. Then notice he doesn't say that they're not true, and there's no evidence yet that the Biden campaign has denied it. They said, well, my official schedule isn't said I wasn't there. What about your unofficial schedule? Or do you have a proof that you weren't there, where you were at when this all went on? No, they're not denying it. They're saying Facebook and Twitter taking it down, which they did, and they throttled it down, but they didn't completely take it down. But they took it down by your request, and then you're saying, well, that's proof of it. Well, that's totally... How absurd and stupid do they think we are?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that one because that'll just get me in trouble. But then everybody, they know they can get away with it because nobody's going to leave Facebook because they do that.
Well, the Biden supporters, they love
it, but how many of those are there?
They're going to defend that, but like I said, they'll defend this. Will defend this legally obtained emails being spread of supposedly, allegedly, but they will decry this, but Trump's illegal tax returns were out there. Well, where's his tax? Well, they made an issue of that, like anything on illegal stuff obtained. Right. Again, the hypocrisy on this stuff. That's why you Biden supporters have zero credibility. You will not call out your guy when he's screwing you over and the rest of us over and lying to us, because this is the headline in the Post, New York Post, one that came out today.
You got like 30 seconds, buddy.
Emails reveal how Hunter Biden tried to cash in big on behalf of family with Chinese firm. Here's the short story of it is the deal also listed 10 Jim and 10 held by H for the big guy. This is supposedly the Chinese were going to pay Hunter Biden or paid him $10 million a year of that. Now, who do you think number 10 Jim and number 10 held for H, the big guy?
I don't know.
Who would Hunter Biden be holding this money for?
Who are they put Jim?
We don't know. We don't know who Jim is or...
Who's Jim?
Or 10 to be held by H, which we're assuming is Hunter Biden, for the big guy.
Who's the big guy?
Maybe it's Joe Biden.
The big guy. Oh, instead of Joe, they put Jim, so that way.
Well, they said 10 held for H for the big guy. Who would Hunter be?
What do you guys think? Write in and I'll read out your comments.
This is that, and now they're scrambling. It's shady. Not only that, like I say, crack smoking, hoe chasing, Hunter Biden is out there doing all this stuff. Tens of millions of dollars. Biden got $15 million after he was vice president, mostly from the Chinese of this. Another email sent by Biden as part of an August 17 chain involved a deal he struck with the vanished chairman CFC Yi Yang for half ownership of a holding company that was expected to provide Biden with more than $10 million a year.
$10 million? A
year? Yeah.
Why the hell do you need
Hunter's
that much
holding
money?
a third of it. H is holding a third of it for the big guy. Hunter's getting a third, and this James or Jim's is getting a third.
1 minute. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Sean. See, you took away from my moment.
So, again, here it is on black and white of that. The New York Post. Oh, you're going to complain about this, Mr. Biden? answer these questions. You're not
I
denying.
wanted that. Stop.
Well,
Get off my mouse, please. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the comments section so that way you guys can go
Yes.
and on your own time.
Check out that bill I sent you, Roy. The link to the bill I sent you. Oh my God, you're just gonna drop your.
okay, will do.
30
What
seconds.
did you send me?
Roy will email it to you.
Get off my mouse, please. You didn't send me nothing.
I didn't send it to you.
I'm not hurt, Sean. I'm just, you know the rest of it.
10
I'm going to take
seconds.
Sean away from you.
1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Sean can-
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday at 5:30 on the Mighty Red 1490 KMET, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire. Joining our audience on the World Wide Web and on video on IE Newswire on Facebook and
YouTube, and now we're on Twitch as well. And make sure you go to our Instagram page and like that. And follow us, too.
the YouTube page too.
I did say YouTube.
You did, but you didn't say follow us on that.
Click the like and subscribe. You all know what to do.
Actually, the YouTube's finally starting to get some listeners on it, which is great, I think.
It's because you have a great promoter.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks, Sean. Just kidding.
Oh, one thing you can say is we have fun on this show, if nothing
We do?
else. Yes, we do.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, way to build an audience on that.
Oh, we have a blast. Hey, if they're not laughing at our dumb jokes. I don't know.
That we talked about the Hunter Biden stuff of that, all of that, and the biggest meth bust in U.S. history. Most of it was in Moreno Valley in Paris. On that, over 2,000 pounds of meth, 900 pounds of cocaine were
Crazy.
seized on that. That was a big story, man. That thing blew up on IE Newswire. Over 50,000 reached. I think 459 shares.
But you know what they
across
left
the
out
deal.
on that, which I'm curious about? I don't know why. Is how much is all of that worth street value?
Oh yeah, I think
Like,
it was.
that's got to be a lot.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was
But-
in the millions. I should have put that in the deal. Yeah, the street value of that was like in hundreds of millions of dollars or something that was going through. So again, Moreno Valley is known for the biggest bribe taken. That Marcelo Coe, who took a biggest public official, about 5 years ago, $2.36 million. Now we're known for the biggest meth bust in U.S. history. So way to go, Moreno Valley.
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to be number one at something, you might as well be. I mean, if you're going to be number one at something.
Hey, but you know what? You know how many people that's going to draw to Moreno Valley?
Yeah, and I don't know
That
if you
might want to be residents here. for
yeah,
that?
I don't know if you want them.
And you're going to have an amphitheater soon.
Yeah.
Now you have a place to go to.
You can imagine what's going to be done at that amphitheater, and there's probably not going to be a lot of singing going on.
No, I'm sure they'll be singing and dancing with someone that's.
Well,
not
yeah,
really
maybe
there.
after they spread around the contents that are going around.
Anyways, I'm going to shut up and give you the show.
Oh, you don't want to do. Well, maybe I thought you were. I was going to see if you learned the first law of holes yet. You know, that's such a simple law, but people just cannot grasp
Of
it.
digging?
Yes.
Yeah, because I hate digging sometimes. Just saying.
On that, we did that. Trump was on the stump in Greenville, North Carolina. We covered that. Again, the Hunter Biden deal, where he was coming up with the email. You know, the New York Post dropped a story, and the disingenuous of the Biden campaign complaining to Facebook and Twitter to take the stories down or throttle the New York Post story, and then come out and claim, well, his spokesman came out today and said, well, because of that, because Facebook and Twitter took it down, that's proof that the allegations were false. Well, no, it isn't. A unequivocal denial by Joe Biden that all of the emails were false. He never took any money from the Chinese. He never had contact, as he said, and as he dissed Savannah from NBC earlier in February when he was on the campaign trail for presidency, giving her the mansplaining deal of, you don't know what you're talking about. How dare you? Well, where was all this mansplaining stuff? Why wasn't the whole deal coming up of, oh, Joe Biden's mansplaining to Savannah of NBC? But you can imagine if Trump jumped on somebody like that, holy bejesus, we know the firestorm would be going off. But to talk about this and most everything else that's going on in the world, we have our longtime guest, who's the editorial writer of the Press Enterprise, San Bernardino Sun, Inland Daily Bulletin, and Redlands Daily Facts, but more important, Vice President of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, Susan Shelley. Welcome to IE Newswire with Steph and Roy.
Well, thank you, Roy. Hi, Steph. How are you?
Hey, Susan, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, what do you think about this whole Hunter Biden, Joe Biden thing blowing? This might be the deal like Hillary that came out in the last week or so, which had her walking back on his heels on that. This seems to be growing some legs, because if these emails that were released by the New York Post and the allegations that came out today, which the New York Post had the story that Hunter Biden made a deal with the Chinese and was supposed to get $10 million a year, and he was to get a third, this James was supposed to get a third, and Hunter was supposed to hold a third for the big guy. Who do you think was the big guy?
Oh, my. Oh, my. Well, that certainly sounds like it's going to be the beginning of a very interesting story.
Yes.
This reminds me a little bit of the Whitewater story when it was breaking, and the stories about Paula Jones and the women that Bill Clinton was trying to suppress as witnesses. And the media was killing the story. It was sort of at the very beginning of the Internet era. The Drudge Report was this backwater, tiny little site, and NBC killed a story about Monica Lewinsky, and somebody gave it to the Drudge Report, and he ran with it. And all of a sudden, the media could not keep these things quiet anymore. And you just saw with the New York Post, they ran this story about Hunter Biden and Ukraine and being on the board and money changing hands, which is just shocking. It was absolute influence peddling, and this crazy way that it came to light that Hunter Biden dropped off his laptop computer and never picked it up, and someone copied the hard drive and found all these emails. What a wild, crazy story of yet another email discovery of someone's personal emails causing all this problem. And yesterday on Twitter they were censoring the story, and on Facebook they were censoring the New York Post, and they were deleting the post of the news link, and they were prohibiting people from sharing it, and they were trying to diminish it on their platform so that people wouldn't see it. And that's just shocking to me. This is like a totalitarian government trying to censor information to keep these people in power, or to get rid of the Trump administration and put the Biden people back in power. This is crazy what's going on, and they're not going to get away with it because, just as you said, they were accusing Donald Trump of all of these things, which he didn't do, and Biden had done them. And they impeached Trump for asking about it. It was just the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yes, I want to get to the I want to get to the irony of this, because the New York Times published Trump's tax returns, which they obtained allegedly illegally.
Illegally, yes.
And Twitter and Facebook didn't have a problem of people sharing that, broadcasting it to the world, or letting China and Iran and everybody else broadcast on there. But hey, pray tell, Joe Biden raises a fit about this, and Twitter and Facebook shut it off on that for something that it appears at this point, for the knowledge we have, of emails that this man released. It was his property to release, and that he released them legally.
You know, if Tom Brady had protection like this, he could play until he's 60. Maybe 70. You can play till he's 75
Yes.
years old with protection like this. I've never seen anything like this. I was just watching Savannah Guthrie on NBC holding this so-called town hall meeting where all she's doing is trying to look like she's being tough on Trump. She asked him the ridiculous question again, why won't you denounce white supremacy? He said, I denounce white supremacy. She said, well, why do you hesitate? He said, I didn't hesitate. This is crazy what's going on.
Yes.
And then she asked him about some whack job conspiracy on the internet. He said, I don't know about that. She said, I just told you about it. He said, well, not everything you tell me is a fact.
Yeah.
This is so crazy. It's like he's debating the media. It's like he's running against the media.
It's because I want to get to this, and then I want to get to your column on reopening California. But I want to do this. But this is exactly right. They asked Biden all the softball questions, this and that, and soft shit. They attacked Trump mercifully, like in the debates, in the town hall meetings, and everything else. But I just want to take you back to a comparison of Hillary versus Trump in 2016 on the polls in key swing states and what's happening today. Pennsylvania, at this time last year, this is all on the Real Clear Politics average, which everybody kind of figures is the gold standard where they average everything. Well, let's just say a lot of people follow it. So they said Pennsylvania, Hillary was up 7, Biden is up 6 right now. Florida, Hillary was up 5, Biden's up 3. Wisconsin, Hillary was up 3, Biden's up 7. Michigan, Hillary was up 11, Biden's up 7. In North Carolina, it was 3 and 3. Biden was both up on both of those. So in all but one state, Biden is behind in key swing states that Trump eventually won. Biden is up by a lesser margin than Hillary, and Trump won all of these states. In my analysis of this, Trump is in better shape in 2020 than he was in 2016, based on the numbers of the average of the polls on Real Clear Politics. What do you say, Susan Shelley?
I think that's absolutely right. And when you look on the ground, you know, a doctor would say, let's do a clinical examination. How do you feel? If you see the Trump administration and you see the Trump campaign out there with 30,000 people showing up at an airport for one of his rallies on 24 hours notice, and then you see Biden with 6 card chairs and 4 people. This, you know, he can say all day long that he's social distancing, but he's distancing people like into another zip code. People are not showing up. There was a photo of Elizabeth Warren campaigning for him, 6 people, and probably 5 of them were either press or staff. There was a photo of Bernie Sanders campaigning for Biden, same thing. Kamala Harris campaigning, same thing. They are drawing nobody to this. If it was an Actors Equity production, it would not have to go on because there are more people in the cast than in the audience. This is unbelievable that people think Biden's going to win this election. They are living in another universe.
On to California, in your column in the Great Southern California newspaper, Governor Gavin Newsom continues to make it harder to ever reopen. I'm saying reopen ever, but go ahead, Susan Shelley.
Well, he has created a new metric. Another patch of new science has grown in his office, and he has harvested a new metric, which he's calling health equity. And essentially what this means is until there's enough spending on the bottom 25% of the socioeconomic ladder in each county, nobody can reopen. We're going to measure infection rates and case rates, which is very subjective because it depends on how many people choose to be tested and what the rules are about who can be tested and when the test results come back. And these results are going to determine whether a county can reopen based on whether the census tracts that are measured as the lowest 25% on a government index that's called the Healthy Places Index, which includes all kinds of things like how many trees there are in the neighborhood, stuff, no relation to illness in any way. Until those census tracts have the same case rate as the rest of the county, they can't reopen. So the problem with this, of course, is that in some areas where people live in dense housing, and they have a higher infection rate. There's not a lot the county can do about that. So what are they supposed to do? Well, Newsom wants to control how they spend their pandemic grant funds. So he's requiring the counties to, quote, submit a plan for where they're going to spend the money. And if the plan is not approved, nobody reopens. It's very much a power grab from Sacramento. They are trying to control all the spending decisions that belong to the county board of supervisors and the mayors and the city councils, and they want to control it from Sacramento. And this has nothing to do with illness, nothing to do with a contagious virus, nothing to do with how busy the hospitals are or how overwhelmed the medical system is, nothing to do with any of that. This is a pure power play for Sacramento to control local decision making. And the collateral damage is immense on this. Just today, I read that Universal City and Six Flags Magic Mountain are laying people off from the Universal Studios tour and City Walk, and from Six Flags, they are laying people off. They can't carry their health care and their salaries any longer. They can't sustain 7 months of closure with no end in sight. And the governor doesn't care. The governor said, we're in no hurry to reopen the theme parks or anything else, really. He's just power tripping, and he's got his emergency powers, and the legislature can't stop him, and the courts won't stop him, and he's just doing whatever he wants, and he doesn't care how many people are out of school, out of work, out of luck. He doesn't care.
Yes, and I think the word that he used in opening the theme parks is stubborn. He's being stubborn about that, opening our schools, everything else on that part of it too. And it's just, as broke as the state of California government and probably all of our municipalities are at this point, to meet those metrics that he's come up, that'll be past 2035 when he's banning internal combustion engines and everything else. So if you just read between the tea leaves of what he is telling you, you are never returning to the way it was before March 2020.
That's what he seems to be saying. We're never going back. We're going to have emergency control in California forever. And that is unconstitutional. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. It cannot be allowed to stand. Now, on October 21st, there will be a court hearing or a trial date for a lawsuit by 2 assembly members, Kevin Kiley and James Gallagher, from the Sacramento area, I believe. And they are suing to stop these emergency edicts. They think it's a completely unconstitutional, illegal power grab, unjustified, unlawful, and they are suing. Now, Newsom tried to get this dismissed on a technicality, and the judge said no, so it's going forward. And we can hope, in Michigan, there was a ruling that said what the governor in Michigan had done was unconstitutional and illegal as far as his lockdown orders. And I think eventually the courts will stop this. But the damage that could be done by the time the courts get around to it, it's just catastrophic. The small businesses, the restaurants. I just read today that a steakhouse in San Francisco called Alfred's, which has been there since 1928. 1928. It survived the Depression. Out of business because of the COVID lockdown.
It's heartbreaking of that. And we had Assembly Member Kevin Kiley on about a week ago on that. And this judge, and of the preliminary rulings and just reading the tea leaves, and you never know which way they're going to do that, but it looks, if the judge is consistent with the rulings and the indications he's made so far, this may have Newsom on his heels, because if he loses this case, all these executive orders that he signed are put pretty much in peril, and according to Kevin Kiley, if I understood him right, that's going to leave us the keys, if they win this case, to start unlocking all of these.
I hope so. I hope so. Now, you can see how this power play is working. We used to see this on a different subject with Senator Jerry Brown, where you might remember that when the gas tax repeal was on the ballot, the timing worked out so that Jerry Brown had a bunch of bills on his desk that he could either sign or veto. And if you wanted it to go your way, you better not donate anything to the repeal gas tax campaign. And he played hardball on that. And nobody donated to that campaign, and it had no money to get the message out. And that campaign lost, and the gas tax is still on your bills. So what Newsom is doing, you can kind of see it. He is holding every business in the state hostage. Even the ones that have been allowed to partially reopen can be ordered closed just on his say-so with no warning, which would be devastating, which is devastating to businesses. To let them invest and then open and then tell them they have to close is murder of these businesses. So he holds that power.
I want to get to one thing. We got about 3 minutes left. But I was, not surprised because she does play it pretty fair. But two things. The second one I was really surprised about. Democratic State Senator Gloria Romero came out as no on 15. And that's a good indication. But she's, for the Democrats, she's one of the, like an old-time Democrat that actually looks at things and just doesn't vote lockstep. But the one that I thought, and I hope you can confirm or say this, but I heard the California State School Board Association also came out in 15 because they said it's being marketed as for the children, and they said the last person that will get any of this money will be the schools or the kids or anything else. What's your take on that?
I haven't heard that. That's news to me that the School Board Association, they came out against 15.
Yes. Check and confirm that because I heard that. That's what when I heard Gloria Romero, she's the one that said it. So check that out and see. Yes, I almost hit the floor when I heard that.
Wow. Well, I've been working on something else today, so I missed that story, but I will certainly check it out. And it's true that the money from Prop 15, only 40% goes to the schools, even under the best circumstances. And really, there's no way to know how much of that, if anything, gets to the classroom. Probably none of it. Very frustrating. But 60% goes to local governments. It can be spent on absolutely anything. It goes to the general fund, which means it's essentially going to fund pensions, and it's going to perpetuate this irresponsible behavior that these governments are doing of never reducing the pensions of future workers. They don't want to reform the pension systems for future workers, and that is making the whole system insolvent. And it could cause bankruptcies, and they don't care because they'll be gone. So they make their deals with the public employee unions, and they say, I will protect you and I'll do whatever you want, and you support me and I'll be reelected, and that's what happens. And then these problems are never fixed. So they come to us for tax increases. This is very demoralizing. The number of tax increases that are proposed on the ballot is staggering. There's something like 200 and 300 local measures on the ballot that are partial taxes, sales taxes, local tax increases of one kind or another, and every single one of them could be labeled, we can't afford our pensions, please give.
There you go.
We
got 30 seconds. We got 30 seconds left. Tell them why they should join Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association.
Because we are fighting against all these tax increases, and we need your help. Be sure to vote in this important election. It's really, really important to vote. Vote early, mail it, drop it in a drop box, drop it at the polling places, vote at one of the polling stations early, or vote on election day. Do not miss this election. Go to hjta.org, and please join the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, a great member-supported organization that fights to strengthen the voice of taxpayers. hjta.org.
And check out that California School Board Association No on 15. If that is, I can hear a new Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association ad coming out here soon. Susan Shelley, we'll do it again next week. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That was a yes. I hope that. I heard it. That's what Gloria Romero, state senator from California, said when she was saying no on 15. So I haven't confirmed that yet.
Right.
But that's what she said. We will try and confirm it, and if that is true, that is like a big game changer.
Yeah, it is.
Because
So what are we saying yes to?
20. which is the reform of 47 and 57, which made it a misdemeanor and if you stole $950 or less, and is reforming the bad parts of 47, 57. And as Mike Hester, and hopefully we'll get him on here, said it's not there. 47, 57 wasn't all bad, but there were parts of it were, and that was fixing it. And 22, where it allows the Uber and Lyft drivers to be independent contractors and not be employees. So it's yes on 20 and 22, no on all the other propositions.
Got it. Y'all get that?
Yes. Of that. So, yeah, that's again, like that was a stunning, hopefully that's going to be a stunning endorsement. And another reason, I mean, I've sat there and shouted about the cops and the firefighters and the skills, you lying about cops and kids and all this stuff every time they wanted a tax increase and stuff. This is why I do it. Maybe this is the first crack in the dike that the California School Board Association, if they have come out against us and are finally telling the truth, yeah, we're really not going to get any more money to the schools and that, and they don't need it anyway. Besides that, of that, but that, you know, again, that's why somebody, and like I say, there's only been one out of 40 million that stood up and said all three of them and challenged them directly to come into this show and debate it for that. And you know, all know who you are. So there it is. But that's why if you gotta, and even if you gotta be one out of 40 million that's gonna stand up and say it, it has to be said. Somebody's got to say the emperor has no clothes if you're gonna make things change.
That's scary. And don't forget, next Thursday at our local farmers market, to leave you on a good note, they're gonna have a costume contest for ages. Oh, there's an age. Oh, for all ages, so you can do it, Roy.
Yes, I don't have to. Yes, I've got my costume on now.
Thursday, October 29th, beginning at 11 a.m. at our City Hall, located off of Frederick Street. Make sure you go out there. They're going to have little treats and candy for the kids. At least they get to do something.
See, this costume is the overall winner, I can tell you that. This is the scariest one there.
And be sure to tune into Friday's show. Tomorrow we're going to have Aaron. I cannot wait to have him on. You guys got to check it out. He's going to even have a couple books to be given away for you guys that are signed.
There you go.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
We're excited. We're always excited. Everything's exciting.
I don't know what the background music is.
What is the background?
Join us tomorrow for Aaron and Asadi.
You got it. We'll be back tomorrow on that on a Fast Friday. So until then, we're gone.
I'm in early. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, well,
Paid program.
All right, guys.